Down with me, who wants you down with me, down with me? Hold on. I got a crowd wrapping round the whole town for me. They mama proud, got a thou in the balcony. Nah, 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 I don't hear no clown talking foul on me.
And he froze. Okay, I guess. What's up, guys? Welcome back to What It All's podcast. It's your JMX here with my co-host Ryan. We got a good one for you guys today. But first, Ryan, how you been doing, man?
Man, I'm alright. I'm just chilling here watching college football. How about yourself?
I've been good watching the games all day, man. Shout out to Travis Hunter and them boys and boys showed out today. But yeah, other than that, I just been chilling. But today, you guys, we got to get into it. So last night, kind of a blockbuster trade happened. Something that I don't think anybody was kind of expecting. Um, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks agreed on a trade to send Karl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks. The trade was basically, I think, yeah, the Knicks got the Knicks only got Karl Anthony Towns. The Timberwolves got Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and a protected first round pick for the Pistons, which that pick is lottery protected, so it's most likely going to go back to Detroit unless they have a magical season or whatever. But yeah, so we're just gonna give you guys our thoughts on the trade, and I'll start. I'll start with the Minnesota side of things. Actually, no, I'm gonna start with the Knicks side of things here, and then I'll let you talk about the Knicks. So the Knicks, me personally, I think this was kind of those trades that we'll go back and realize it was like a lose lose type of trade. Um, I just don't really understand. I don't really understand why the Knicks felt the need to make this trade. I know that I think Mitchell Robinson is going to be out for a little while, but I felt like they still had Randall, you still had Achua, and you still had some guys on this team. I felt like could have kind of filled that role for the time being. But I feel like getting rid of DiVincenzo was the biggest deal for me. I mean, I don't mind trading Randall for Towns straight up. I feel like that's a win for the Knicks, but I feel like giving up DiVincenzo is going to hurt them more than what people think. I know everybody's talking about, hey, look, they still got Mikal Bridges, and that's what it is, but he's not the shooter that Dante DiVincenzo is. I mean, Dante shot 40% in shooting, like arguably arguably probably the most threes in the league last year, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's absolutely. I was kind of flabbergasted that they gave him up in the deal, especially with the whole Nova Knicks thing. And as far as Julius Randle goes, I was really interested to see what he was going to do, being the solidified option number two or option number three on the team, like, and basically no pressure on him, and he was gonna get more one on one situations, not face quite the double teams like he would like he was used to in the past, and it's just kind of weird that the Knicks made this trade. If I was them, I probably would have just kept what I had. I wouldn't have gave up DiVincenzo because now that does take a hit for your bench. But the Knicks also did release Marcus Morris and they released Chumo Kiki today, so they're freeing up some roster spots. So I guess they're gonna go try to sign some guys on the vet minimum to try to help the bench unit. But if I'm the Knicks, man, I probably wouldn't have just made this deal to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I I think everybody was completely caught off guard with it was might be the most random trade like in a very very long time. Um, I do like it for the Knicks. Um, I think their starting five now is nasty. You got Brunson, Mikael, OG, Josh, and now Cat. It's like that starting five is like dirty.
Mm.
Um, but I'm exactly with you when it's like I think getting rid of Dante is a huge, huge mistake. Granted, like I understand, like you had to trade somebody, but I don't know. I wasn't really the biggest fan of that either, and yeah, I do like Cat with the Knicks though, but because I was never really the biggest Julius Randle guy, especially when he was with the Lakers. I thought he was just like he could never really live up to his full potential, and yeah, that's just what I think about the Knicks side of it.
Yeah, and I want to get into Towns for a second here. Obviously one of the better big men in the league. My problem, I don't say it's a problem, but the thing I kind of don't like about Karl Anthony Towns, obviously on the court, is just that he, for what the Knicks need at the five, I feel like like everybody talking about spacing. And I feel like that wasn't a problem with the Knicks prior to this trade with spacing. Like I felt like they kind of had a decent amount of good shooters. I mean, with Dante, I think they had it was going to be Brunson, Dante, OG, Mikael. Like I felt like in who or whatever lineup they had, I felt like that shooting was, the spacing was going to be good. I know obviously everybody wants to stretch five, but I think when it goes down to it in the East, like Cat really hasn't played the five in a long time. Cat hasn't played the five, I think, in what 3 to 4 years, and he's stated that he does not like to play the five anymore. He likes to be the four. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what they kind of do with that because, like on a defensive standpoint, now you're going from Hartenstein to Cat. You know what I'm saying? On the defensive side, interiorly, that's kind of a downgrade. I mean, Cat, we all know isn't he's not really an interior defender, but he's not really that well of a shot blocker. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think from a defensive standpoint, I don't know. I just feel like it was a trade they didn't have to make. I feel like Cat is a good player, but he doesn't just fit with the Knicks' need and what they kind of ran. Like Jalen Brunson, that's why Hardenstein kind of worked a little bit. You had the pick and roll threat, but now you got a pick and pop guy. I mean, Cat can roll, but if you watch Cat's game in Minnesota, Cat just spots up. See what I'm saying? He'll get the ball and try to work in the post a little bit, but he's really a spot up guy. So now you're in a lot of pick and pop scenarios where Jalen Brunson, that's not really what he does. He likes to go one on one, attack the rim. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, we'll see how it goes. I just want my opinion on the spacing aspect was they didn't really need like spacing really wasn't a problem for them. I mean, that's just me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was my biggest thing. My biggest thing was more of a, especially like last playoffs. Brunson was really the only one that was really consistently scoring. Um, but like, I I just don't know if Cat was the right answer. You know, like especially
Yeah.
like I'm looking at it. Dante was their second leading scorer at 18 points per game, and then OG was 15, and but Brunson had it was 32 points a game last playoffs, where it's like
Yeah.
they brought in Cat who almost averaged 20 points a game. Um, but like I'm kind of like you were saying a little bit earlier, I'm more with you about the defense, him defensively. I think he's more of a liability than he is like anything. Um, but I don't know. I did see something about him playing for Tibbs again, and he's gonna have that man running like 50 minutes a game or
Yeah.
60 minutes a game. Obviously, it's not 60 minutes, but whatever. I thought that was funny. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I will say on the wing, perimeter defense, I think they'll be really good. But I felt like again, like it's not like their perimeter defense got better just because you put Harden in the starting lineup. I mean, yeah, but it's like it wasn't bad before the trade. Like you still had Hart. He was just coming off the bench. But that's my main thing. I just feel like now with the Knicks side of it, it's hard for me to say they're worse. I just think that they're gonna end up missing Dante just because of what he can do with the ball in his hands too. He's a great catch and shoot player, but he can also take the ball and score with it too. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, he is one of the best floor spacers in the league. I mean, he's one of the best spot up guys in the league. And I feel like they just kind of gave it up for Cat. And Cat is too. He's probably the best spot up big man in the league. I'm not saying that he isn't, but it's just when it comes down to it in the playoffs, like it just he hasn't kind of lived up to it. And I remember last year we were getting on him for the same thing about against the Nuggets that we felt like he needed to do more. And I ain't gonna lie, he's in the East now, bro. Like Embiid is still there, Giannis, like so, and he's gonna be looked at to kind of match that a little bit. And just the way he plays, I mean, he's been a guy that's been killed for not attacking the rim using his size. So we'll see what he does. I mean, maybe he'll change up his game in New York a little bit, but just going off what I know, I don't like it, man.
yeah, I kind of think that's exactly what with Giannis and Embiid. I think they're gonna run into one of them in the playoffs, and that's gonna be their downfall. Is like Cat is not gonna be able to defend either one of them.
Hmm.
Um, and that's exactly what I think is going to take them out. I do like, again, I really, really like the starting lineup, but like besides that, it's like the bench is kind of, I don't know,
Hmm.
like the bench is
It's
really
looking
weak.
worse.
Yeah, and I mean, you got what, Miles McBride, Landry, Shamit, bro. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, no. So right now, the main guys off the bench is probably going to be like. Achua, Bates, Diop, Deuce McBride, and I'm guessing now Mitchell Robinson. And you got, yeah, like you said, Landry Shamit and some other guys I'm looking at too. But that's gonna be what it's kind of consist of. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with some of their rookies, um, Pacome Dadier and Tyler Kolick, but I don't even know if they're gonna play, or Kevin McCullough. I mean, they got some young guys. We'll see how they pan out. But I mean, I guess they're hoping for one of those guys to kind of take Dante's role, like a Tyler Kolick or something. But I don't know, man. I just, for the Knicks side of it, I didn't really like it. But moving on to the Minnesota side of things, this is where it kind of gets interesting. I don't hate that they got rid of Cat by any means. I just thought it was kind of, that's the trade that they took. That's why I say it's kind of a lose-lose. I feel like you could have got more for Carl Anthony Towns than Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Not saying that Dante's a bad player by any means. Like, I don't think they're two bad players. I think in terms of like the players that you kind of got some of what the best the league would have to offer for a guy like Karl Anthony Towns. But I feel like more of a, from a pick side of things, they could have got way more of Karl Anthony Towns. They could have probably gotten the same type of player value from another team and got way more picks if they would have probably, done this earlier in the offseason. But I did like what I saw about them, wanting to play more Nas Reed, noticing that when Cat was off the court, they were a better team in almost every single category. But I do like with them, they kind of really did something that the Knicks didn't do. They chose their key role players over one of the all-star level guys. Like, they chose Alexander Walker and Nas Reed over Cat. And I think that's gonna help him out in the long run. I don't think Julius Randle's gonna be there long term. I think he's a guy that could, depending on how he plays, could be gone. I think Rudy Gobert really now got to watch his back a little bit, because it's looking like they could be moving in another direction there. But I mean, hey, I'll say right now, I don't think Minnesota got worse. I think they're gonna stay the same a little bit. I think it frees up Anthony Edwards as a scorer. And I mean, you giving him more spot up shooting too. You give situations. And you got Dante now, man, who's gonna come off the bench for him, kind of him and Nas Reed off the bench. Hey, man, that's something serious. Like, I know people gonna kind of overlook that, but Nas Reed won Six Man of the Year. He did, right? Yeah, he won Six Man of the Year. Now you getting a guy like Dante coming off the bench there, being their seventh man. I mean, hey, that's gonna do well for them. And then you still got guys like Dillingham, Alexander Walker, so in Jaden McDaniels, of course. But I mean, hey, Minnesota, it's not a bad deal. Do I think they could have gotten more? Yes, but overall, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I prefer this is I we were talking about this yesterday, a couple days ago. I don't really like Rudy at all. I
Yeah, I
prefer
don't either.
I prefer Cat over him. I prefer Nas Reed over him.
Yeah,
It's just my
yeah,
personal like preference, I guess. I just don't like that. And when the playoffs hit, he can never show up, and he's always a liability, always.
yeah.
And it's like I thought Cat outperformed Rudy, and I thought Nas Reed outperformed Rudy in the playoffs. Like, I thought both of them did. But I do kind of think that a big thing for them, they just wanted to get off that salary,
Yeah.
And like, I get it, like, I understand. Now that I really sit here and look at like who they got, because when I first heard it, I was like, oh yeah, like the Timberwolves got fleeced, like they got rid of Cat, and they only really, cause I'm not a Julius Randle fan personally. Um, I really got to make that clear. Um, but dude, like I like it. I like Dante. I also thought it was a unprotected first round pick until I looked at it. It's a protected, obviously, like you said earlier. Um, I really think if what's his name, Rob Dillingham, dude, he's gonna be nice in the summer league. He was pretty nice, and yeah, I
He's gonna be
mean,
their backup point.
yeah. I mean, he's gonna be nice, dude. Especially coming off the bench. I think exactly like you said, Dante coming off the bench is gonna be nice too. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I just the big thing for me is just Julius Randle, honestly, and I think the Knicks just wanted to get off that, and I think the Timberwolves just wanted to get off of Cat's contract.
Oh wow. So I just now saw this. I didn't see this earlier. They traded Bates Diop to the Timberwolves too.
No, no, it was a 3-team deal.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, I see it. Yeah. So The Knicks traded Bates Diop to the Timberwolves. Yeah, yeah, no. So the Knicks, I said earlier that the Knicks had Bates Diop, but he went over there to Minnesota. 'Cause I was looking at their roster. I was like, wait, well, I thought he was on the Knicks. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said about Minnesota. I again, like, I feel like getting no picks though for Cat was like, damn. If I'm a Minnesota fan, I'm like, damn, we didn't get no picks. Like Julius Randle's good, but eventually you're gonna have to trade him. Like, I mean, his salary is, it is what it is, but he's not gonna be there long term. That's just me. I mean, he's coming. I mean, even when he played last year, he put up really solid numbers. Again, that's why I'm kind of shocked that the Knicks did give him up like this. I mean, when he played in 46 games, he averaged 24. He averaged 24 and 9 and 5. I mean, that's not too bad, but I mean, we'll see how he does for Minnesota. I don't know, man. I just feel like they're trying to create more shots for Ant, let him become his own guy, and they also want to come off that. But I just feel like getting no picks for Karl Anthony Towns, that was huge because that pick is gonna go back to Detroit. That's why they were so Knicks were like, we'll get it, so we don't care, make it look better for them. But the Pistons are gonna be, it's a lottery protected pick. The Pistons are gonna get that, like the Pistons are gonna get that pick back. Like, so I mean, you got Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, Bates Diop, and for Cat. I mean, they're probably gonna look back on the trade like, man, we could have got more for this guy, but I just feel like it's a lose-lose trade on both sides of it. Honestly,
Yeah,
like
I
if I had to give a winner, I would say Minnesota.
I think it also just ruins the team chemistry on both sides. Like that's something that I was really thinking of is like it's not like Cat or Dante or Julius Randle were like locker room the locker room cancers type thing, or like you could tell they hated
Yeah.
playing with each other. You could tell Ant loved Cat. You could tell Brunson and Hart loved Dante and Randall, and like you could tell like it just made no sense exactly like you said. And I do kind of agree with you of you're gonna look back at it and it's gonna be like a lose lose. The only way I can see it being like a win for the Timberwolves is if they do get that first round pick somehow.
Maybe, but it would have to be like it's gonna have to be. I mean, I guess, but I don't know, man. That's just kind of, I don't know, dog. I just feel like this trade just really shouldn't have. I mean, if they were gonna trade Cat, I feel like you could have gave him somewhere else. I feel like the Knicks should have at least saw what they had. Like you brought up chemistry, which is a really good thing. The season is finna start soon, so like now you're gonna have to incorporate. I mean, it's easier for the Timberwolves to get adjusted to this a little bit, but it's gonna be way harder for the Knicks because now you're gonna have to learn how to play with a cat. You're gonna learn he's like, and what makes it even worse to me is that he has to get the ball. Like now you're obligated to make sure he gets touches right below. Now you have an official number two. And I feel like what made the Knicks such a good team is that they didn't have an official number two guy. In that way, everybody else could flow because everybody else is really good players. They know their roles. OG, Mikal, Josh Hart, Dante, like they all know what their role is and their assignment is. And I feel like just having one guy, like one guy be the guy in Brunson, it makes everything go smoother. Now with Cat, it could monkey some things up a little bit. Now we know it's got to get the ball. If Brunson not in the game, it's got to go to Cat. If when Brunson on the floor, the number two guy is no longer a question. It's Cat. So like that's just kind of how I'm thinking of it. I think it's a lose lose scenario, and I don't know. My last thing I'll say on it is that I think that I think the Knicks before this trade, I had them being the second best team in the East, not record wise, obviously, but in terms of like I had the Boston going back, and I had them being my number two, Milwaukee number three, but they're not beating. I'm sorry, I don't think they can beat Milwaukee. I don't know. I don't even know if they could probably beat Philly. Maybe, actually, maybe beat Philly. That's still a maybe, but they're damn sure not beating Boston with Cat. That's just not gonna happen. Like I'm sorry. Like it's gonna be games where Cat doesn't show up, and it's gonna be bad. Like because it's the expectation of having that type of player. But yeah, the Knicks they took a hit for me.
Yeah, I kind of thought Mikal was gonna be that number two guy that kind of step up like the almost 2A, 2B, 2C,
Hmm.
like they have a bunch of different
Yeah.
options. Um, and that's why I think it was so random. Like I kind of thought like these teams were like set in stone. Like this is who they are. Opening night, it's like like these are the teams. Like I could have seen exactly like you said, like them trading Cat somewhere else and getting a little bit more for him. That just
Mhm.
kind of really solidifies for me that the Timberwolves really wanted to just get off his contract or one of the contracts, and that the Knicks really just wanted to get rid of Randall. I don't think they wanted to get rid of Dante. I just really think they wanted to get rid of Julius Randle, and I think the Timberwolves wanted to get rid of one of these big contracts, and it just so happened to be Cat.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. It's just this was a lose-lose for me. I mean, I know Knicks fans are happy, and it's a good thing to be happy, but I mean, hey, look, they're gonna win probably more. I mean, they're gonna win maybe a little bit more regular season games, maybe. But I mean, it's just tough because I look at things kind of like championship, just straight up championship, and I just Cat has done nothing to show me that in the playoffs he can be that guy. I rather it like yeah, it may sound crazy, but I rather we know Brunson is just the guy, and Brunson is still the guy. But like I just felt like you had so many other options that made you so much better. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, if you're gonna trade Dante, man, I'm pretty sure somebody around the league that's finna open up and be available soon, like for a trade. Like, I mean, there's talks of a guy like Jimmy Butler. I felt like if you get a guy like him, now they made a trade to get him. Hey man, I have no problems with it because you know what he is come postseason time, and I feel like that's what the Knicks should be trying to focus on. This is a very regular season move, like meaning like they're trying to like it doesn't seem like this isn't a move where I say oh this pushes the championship narrative for them. Like that's just me, and and like with teams like the Knicks, yeah, nah. I mean, I just feel like for the Knicks, every move they make should be like a championship move that kind of moves the needle a bit for them. Like we saw, the trade for Mikal and everything like that. Getting Randall back. The notion was to get healthier, and I thought getting Mikal too. Like you brought up chemistry earlier, it was gonna fit right in, and now it's just like this move doesn't move the needle for me in terms of them trying to win this championship. Like I said, it just seems like a regular season move. They're trying to just maybe sell more tickets, win a little bit more games in regular season, and come playoff time. We know what's gonna happen. Like I said, unless Cat completely changes his game, 100%. Like if he starts attacking the rim more, being more of a post up guy, taking advantage of the mismatch, then I feel like the Knicks could have a shot. But right now, man, I'm done.
Yeah, I do kind of think that, and this goes for both sides. If the upside is as high as we're all like as it could possibly be, I think
Yeah.
this move is like perfect for both sides. It's like you get like you get the Knicks get Cat, and it's like if he's shooting like we know he can shoot, especially in the playoffs, like in a perfect world, I think it's like a good trade for him. But like in a
Yeah.
perfect world, like you could say that thing about anybody, like I don't know. It's I do like it a little bit more, like a tiny bit more for the Timberwolves, just because you get that depth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but I just don't like Julius Randle like at all. But
Yeah, nah, I feel like he's probably gonna get moved kind of in the middle of the season. They're gonna try to get another guy in there, but yeah, that's just my take on the Randall thing. I don't think he's gonna be in Minnesota for too long. He wants to. I mean, like I said, unless he plays really good and they're like we're just gonna keep him. But I honestly doubt it. I feel like they're gonna continue to change his lineup. I think they're only gonna be good with keeping like Mike and Jaden McDaniels. But I think Randall, Rudy Gobert, or could be some moving pieces because they love Nas Reed. And that's just kind of like they made this trade to play Nas Reed more. And I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with that. Like I'm interested to see. They're gonna keep him on the bench, but I'm interested to see them kind of mid-season if they because they're gonna make Randall available. I think even if he plays really well, like they're gonna try to move off from him. But that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. Um, hey man, until the next one. Peace out.